final one of the prone swimming exercises that I'm going to show you today is Superman's, and everything we did earlier with our prone swimming, which is where we're just engaging that glute max before we think of stretching the leg away, equally applies to this exercise. We're just going to have the opposite arm working at the same time. And not only that, we can let our forehead just rest into the mat or onto a little folded up tea towel, but we can also extend ever so slightly through the crown of the head as well. The head and the neck will stay in the same alignment. The extension is going to come from your upper rib cage. So let's just hop back into our prone position. And as usual, we'll draw those hip bones slightly up towards the ribs. Let me get that around. Yep, I got it right. We'll draw the belly button away from the floor and our corset muscles are engaged. I'm going to take my arms out. You might want to start with a prone swim or two and just check the glute max is firing nicely. But then we'll take our arms out. Now my arms are wider than my shoulders, quite a bit wider. They're probably at least a metre, maybe even further apart. And like I'm doing a star jump, I'm going to stretch out as I breathe out, opposite arm, opposite leg, and through the crown of my head. I'm going to breathe in as I relax back down. Engage the glute max and then stretch the leg and the arm away. Once again, we're not lifting particularly high. It's like you're on the rack and they're stretching the limbs, the arm and the leg away from your shoulder and your hip. Still draw your belly button away from the mat, keep your alignment, and you can rest at any particular point. So I'm just going to take this arm out of the way so it's a bit easier to see what I'm doing with my head. So as I'm stretching out with my left leg and my right arm, again, I fire through the left glute max and then I lift up and you can see the crown of my head coming off the mat and then I'll relax down. So when I swap sides, of course, I'm going to fire through the other glute max and then stretch out. If you want to, you can do exactly what I'm doing now. Use the other hand, the one that would be normally resting on the floor, to check on your glute max activation. So this is called Superman's, and a bit like our prone swimming, we could also go into our crisscross, our paddling. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate right now. And then I'm going to just turn the mat around so you can see it from a different angle. So I'll start off with the first one. In this case, it's my left leg and the opposite arm. And then as they come towards the floor, they just touch as the other ones extend. You'll have not just your glute max working, but you'll be feeling this working quite strongly across the lower back area. In fact, if you think of these diagonals from glute max to your shoulder, where they cross is the lumbar spine. And I'm going to relax down. So once again, you might have a little child's pose. I'm going to just turn the mat around as I promised. I'll put it at about a 45-degree angle initially, and I will just, again, do my Supermans, and then I'll turn the mat around one more time. Relaxing it down. Relaxing it down. Breathing out as you stretch out, lengthening. Breathing in as you return. Breathing out as you stretch out and lengthen. Again, you could do the paddling. And just one more time, I will show you from a slightly different angle. You get to see the top of my head. Move the mat up a little bit more. So my hands are quite wide. As you can see, they're not directly in front like Superman flying. And I'm going to stretch out, relaxing down. And again, I'll have a little child's pose. And this is a nice little relax through my lower back. Stretching away from my fingertips. And that completes those 3 little prone swimming exercises I want to show you today. Really good for strengthening and activating through your gluteus maximus. Also excellent for strengthening through the lumbar spine. And because we're staying in neutral, those muscles will get stronger at that length. So they'll get isometrically stronger, and they'll be stronger for you when you're using them in everyday life, which is when you're more often to be in neutral.